we start Module 4, Java Beans and Session Management. Part A, Introduction to Java Beans. Before we start that new topic, I like to go through all the questions from Quiz 1 and Quiz 2. Because I have not found any chance to explain those questions. Some of you may have some questions. So I use two videos, 8.1, 8.2, to explain those two quizzes. Let's start. Part A, 8.1, questions of Quiz 1. 10 questions. The first one, for web architecture, here we look at the three-tier architecture, and we want to know which of the following tier refers to the business tier. Here the answer, middle tier. It's pretty easy, pretty straightforward. So you can find answer easily in the notes. Client tier we use for presentation, data presentation. Data access tier, the database part. Only this middle tier we implement business rules. Business rules. So that's why we call it business tier. All right. Second question. This one, I asked the word undecillion. I think this word is rarely used in the real life. So most people may not know the meaning. So I do not know the meaning when I saw it the first time. When we talk about the number of IPv6 numbers, addresses, that's a huge number. So at that time, we use this word because based on our discussion in the notes, that's 3.4 times 10 to the 38th power. In that one, then we say 340 undecillion. So now you can convert, right? So the difference, 38 minus 2, right? Because you look at these two numbers, different multiplication of 100. So that's why the answer is 10 to the 36th. All right. So for a question like this, I mainly just check if you pay attention to the details. The question is not very hard, but you need to do some translation, transfer the number a little bit. One student told me he forgot to do the conversion. So things like that. Just pay attention to little things. All right. Number 3, browse the largest market share currently, Chrome. Because the difference is huge. The difference approximately, something percent, 68 something percent. So that's dominant in the market. Huge difference. Although the number keeps changing, not very precise, but you can get the approximate number. All right. Question number 4, communication model by ASP.NET, web technology. Event-driven model. I spent some time to explain these two concepts, comparing these two concepts. This Microsoft technology, we know Microsoft, they start with desktop application, development. So they had a lot of investment in the desktop technologies. So then when they moved to web technologies, so they want to use their existing technologies. Okay? So they didn't want to start from scratch, because that's another huge investment. So not very efficient. So they borrow the model from the desktop. So that's the event-driven model. Yeah. And I also mentioned in Java, there is a small community also use event-driven model. Java, the biggest part of the community using request response model. Yeah. So this much. Yeah. But there is a small portion of the community use this event-driven model. It is called JSF, Java Server Faces. Okay, Java Server Faces. Yeah. Some people like this technology. Yeah. But I tried that a little bit 10-something years ago. 10-something years ago, already available. Yeah. But after some time, I do not like that. Yeah. Actually, most people in the community do not like that. So it cannot be very popular. Yeah. So that's the reason it is not that popular right now. Yeah. All right, next question. Number 5. In Java web application, which of following directory contains the configuration? Yeah, that's straightforward. Yeah. So sometimes I ask some easy, straightforward questions. Yeah. So this is the one. Number 6, is the issue protocol stateless or stateful? Stateless. Yeah. I spent 10-something minutes to explain this concept. So remember, so that was in Monday's class. Stateful, stateless. Store the user's information. HTTP protocol by default, it does not store client specific information. Yeah. The reason is the cost is high. If you need to store, the cost will be high. The cost means the memory resource used to do that, and the performance will be slower. Yeah. So for that reason, another reason, because most of the communication, most of the client-server communication does not require users' information. Okay? For example, when you visit a web page, the server does not need to know who you are. Okay? Most of the time, the server does not. So I use approximate percentage, approximate 90-something percent. 90-something percent of the time, the server does not need to know your personal information. Yeah. Just to send you the generic data. Okay? Yeah. Only for some very special situation. So e-commerce, online shopping, yeah. So the server, the web applications need to know your user-specific information. At that time, less than 10% of the time. Then, state information should be stored in the server-side main memory. So that's why in order to make the communication faster, more efficient, HTTP protocol uses stateless. Yeah, was designed in this stateless property. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Number 7. In the HTTP request structure, in order to separate the request line component and the request header blank line must be inserted false. False. Why? It's simple. request line requests only one line. Okay. After that line, the next block, so that's the headers part, request headers part. Okay. So then a blank line. Okay. Yeah. Because this header, how big it is, nobody knows. Yeah. Then a blank line. Okay. So then the body. Okay. The structure like that. Okay. But between these two, no separator necessary. It can be easily separated by line number. Number 1, starting from line number 2, new component. That simple. Yeah. All right. Question number 8. When a client uses HTTP request to send data to request body part, can never be empty. That's wrong. We know the request body part is optional, right? Optional. Why request body part is optional? We can still send the data to the server. Why? Why is that? Because we can use the request line. Request line is relatively small, but we can send small amount of data through URL part, right? Request line contains the URL part. So we can embed small amount of data in the URL as the query string. Yeah. So we call it query string. Okay. Yeah. So you can see this question checks your understanding of background, several pieces you need to put together. Yeah. So that's the understanding. Yeah. I don't like, some of you probably didn't study the videos, but when you try to answer the questions, you just go through the notes, try to find the answers. That's not good, because in your mind, you do not have the whole story. When you study the videos, so you follow my story, telling details. So later you can recover. So when you answer questions, you can try to recover the story, because you have the background established in your mind. But if you never study the videos, just search the notes, you can never establish any background story in your mind. Yeah. Because when I look at the video watching rates, at this point still very low. Yeah. The same thing in all my 3 classes, all very low. Yeah. So that's something I worry a little bit. Yeah. All right, the last 2 questions. Number 9, which of the following components of HTTP request contains the IP address of the client? Request headers, IP address. In the headers, there are many headers. One of them, IP address, stores the IP address. Yeah. All right, last question. Which of following methods data sent visible by other people from the browser bar get? Yeah. Because the browser bar displays the URL part containing the query string. Although the modern browsers by default hide the query string part, the browsers. But that hide is not very strong protection, not that. Because think about the situation like this. If you, as the user, you send some sensitive data through that get method, it will be displayed in the browser bar, although initially it is hidden, but if you leave your desk, go to somewhere, some other people, if they come here, they just put a mouse cursor, click the browser bar, they can see the information. So that's how we don't like that kind of thing happen. For that reason, we should use suppose you have some sensitive data, really you need to use the post method to send. So nobody can see it. All right, so that is the quiz 1 part.